Hey, how you guys doing? What's up? So today we have to talk about Marvin and what is really going on in the church right about now. We all know that Marvin just got $1.2 million. Okay? Yes. Now he unlocked the church doors and was demanding $40,000 from everyday people. And a lot of people are very upset about this, and I want to hear what you guys have to say. Now, I have my auntie on the line. Are you here, auntie?
Baby, I'm here.
Okay, and I want you to tell us what was your thoughts about this?
I was so disappointed. I couldn't believe it. I like Marvin, Marvin Sapp singing.
Uh-huh.
I ain't never fond of his preaching. I never heard him preach, even though he's from some part of Michigan. He used to be, but I was a Marvin. I'm a Marvin Winan kind of girl, but I'm just so disappointed in Marvin Sapp. Shame on him. Number one, you putting people's life in jeopardy talking about lock the doors.
And he did lock those doors. The doors were locked, you guys.
And then, you know what? If you want to get somebody to come to God, and you want to start saving souls and trying to get young people, old people too, but young folks to come there, they're gonna say that's what we talking about. These black churches always talking about they want money, 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 money. That's bad. That he shouldn't have never did that or said that. That's like a bad stigma. And that's what they're gonna think. That's all these churches want is money from you. And
Yeah.
that is that's really, really sad. And then the way he did it, talking about the people right here, like the little people or whatever down here, you give $20, and the people behind me or whatever, what is it gonna give $1,000?
100, I believe. No less than 100.
That's it. How you gonna tell people what to give? How you know if somebody there came there to hear from God just for prayer? They came there for a prayer. They came there for healing or whatever, and they just got their world blew up. By him saying that, and that's so ugly. That is sad. That's not of God. That is not of God at all. And then you don't tell people what to give. You're supposed to be a cheerful giver. You give from your heart what you have. You can't fool God, And it did make me think of that woman. I don't forgot who her name. I think it's Juanita Biner. I'm not for sure. She had people in line. I don't know where. I don't know if it was here. She did that, but it was somewhere. But I believe it was here. One time she came here and she said, "The people in line for $1,000 give here, and the people in this line gonna give $100." And she was saying that God told her to do that. God didn't tell you to do that. It's just like God, and nowhere God was in that. What Marvin Sapp did. Shame on him, and I'm very disappointed. And then you know what? And they always say that about black churches, greedy for money and this and that or whatever. And it just shows you what he just did makes people even see. I told you more so. Mm-hmm. You never, ever, never catch those white pastors doing that. Joe Austin, look at all the members he have. You never catch him say that or do that or whatever. It's sad. It always got to be black folks acting stupid and ignorant. Mm-hmm. I'm just so outdone. I just cannot believe him. Talking about never would have made it. Could you imagine locking them doors? His ass wouldn't have made it out of there. Never would have made it. He the one that would have made it. They would have beat the hell out of him.
Oh. Okay. All right, Auntie. Thank you so much for coming in and telling us how you really feel about this. All right.
Yeah, I'm mad. I'm heated. I just can't believe that.
Yep, a lot of people are heated about this.
Just think about it. What if somebody else their first time coming here and they was gonna join, and this is a church for me? You know what I mean? God spoke to them, told them to come there. You'll receive healing. And you get there and this man say something like that. That is not of God. God wasn't in it nowhere, no how, no way. I'm disappointed in him. But it just shows you don't put all your trust in man. You better put your trust in God.
Mm-hmm. All right, Auntie. Thank you so much for joining us. That was Auntie, y'all. All right. So we have Storm here. How's it going, Storm?
It, it is going good. How are you doing today?
Good. So, what are your thoughts about this?
Well, I could actually give you a whole lot of background about this here because I was heavily involved in Christian television broadcasting and Christian radio for many years before I was doing R&B. And so I know a whole lot about those individuals personally. Now, here's the thing that I want to explain to everybody that I need you to understand. Marvin Sapp is one, a music artist, and two, a pastor. So at this particular event, which was the PAW's conference in, I think it was Philadelphia at the time, somebody said turn my volume up. Okay, I'll turn it up. Can you hear me better now? Okay. If you can hear me better, put the ones in there so I can know you can hear me better. All right. So while there at the conference, right, he was the keynote speaker. So generally, when TD Jakes, Marvin Sapp, Juanita Bynum, and all of them go to different churches, they receive what is called an honorarium. That honorarium is a church way of saying how much you gonna pay me to come. First of all, why do I gotta pay you to come share the gospel with me? Why do I got to pay you to hear you talk about God? Why do I have to pay you to hear you sing about the goodness of his grace? What is wrong with that? What's wrong with that picture? The picture is you about making your money and you could care less about giving me the righteous word. Okay, so now here's the thing. He's up there, right? He's on the podium. He's the keynote speaker. And how I know he was a speaker, because whenever he wears the gray and he has the emblem of his church on there, he's preaching. So he was there to preach. Because when he's singing, he wears regular clothes. All right. So now it's time for the honorarium, right? His fee is a minimum $50,000 to preach. Let me repeat myself. His fee is $50,000 to come preach minimum. They want to know how much people you're going to have, how large is the facility that he's going to preach at, what's the earnings, and what is your budget for him to come. Now, if you don't have that budget when he comes, then comes the reaction that he got. Lock the doors. I need to get my money. Y'all gonna pay me my money today. 1,000 y'all gonna give me $20 offline, and 1,000 y'all gonna give me 20 in here. And y'all backstage up here, y'all wanna be in, ordained bishops, pastors, and going on. So y'all gonna kick out $100. That's what's going on. And we in the black community need to stop going to these churches for this buffoonery, because that's what's happening. Juanita Bynum does the same thing. And I can talk about Juanita Bynum because, Juanita, I'm talking to you directly. You know I know you personally. You know I know how you operate. And you know that I've been in several meetings with you to know exactly how you operate. And you don't operate from any difference in TD Jakes, Donnie McClurkin, and anybody else. You don't. So today, if y'all want the goods, I'm going to drop the goods on you. From Clarence McClendon down. Uh-oh, Gigi froze. Can y'all still hear me?
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I don't know what happened. Did something stop? All right, Storm, are you there?
Yes,
okay,
I'm
I
here.
have to be quiet because if I talk, I hear echo on your end, so I'm going to be quiet.
Okay. All right. So now the whole thing about it is I can talk about these preachers because I know them. I know Marvin Sapp. We have been in several events together for the Word Network. And Bonner Brothers. I know Marvin. Marvin moved from Michigan to Texas at Fort Worth. He bought him. He has a $1 million home. I mean, $100 million. Excuse me, a $1 million home. He purchased in Texas, $1 million. Okay, so he ain't hurting for the money. You could afford to pay $1 million cash for a home in Fort Worth, right? Then you got to get all this money to preach. He's getting the same money to preach as he would to go out and sing. Are we locked up again? What is going on? Gigi, can anybody, if you can hear me in the chat, put a 1 in there, because I think her screen is for, oh, she's back now.
Hello?
Yeah, okay. So I
Okay,
guess something's
Storm.
wrong with the, yeah.
I guess something's going on with the internet over here. My internet. Storm,
Yeah.
are you there?
Oh, yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Hello?
Yes, I'm here, Gigi.
All right. Are you there, Storm?
Yes, I am.
Okay, yeah. Something going on my internet.
Okay. All right. So here's the thing, everybody. Black churches have been being pimped by these preachers for too long. And enough is enough, and we need to talk about it. We need to come to the table and really, really discuss this thing. Because if you can put a preacher in $1 million home, why can't we put somebody local in $1 million home? What's wrong with this picture? This is all wrong. I'm gonna write a book called Pimping is Easy and the Church is the Biggest Hoe. Because that's what it is. And enough is enough. You run behind Donnie McClurkin. Donnie McClurkin ain't no preacher. You run behind Juanita Bynum. Juanita Bynum ain't no preacher. You run behind Joel Osteen. Joel Osteen is not a preacher. You gave all your money to TBN. For what? To see somebody dressed like a Barbie doll looking like an owl or whatever? I'm telling you the facts. This is the truth. And then here's the thing. Whenever somebody black try to put up a network, you don't even support it. You send all your money to the, and here's the thing. Do not believe for 1 minute that these mega churches are operating by themselves. All of them are connected to Kenneth Copeland in some form or fashion. Creflo Dollar under Kenneth Copeland. Thompson, Kenneth Copeland. Mike Murdoch from PTL. I can tell you about all these folks. All of them. And we go down this rabbit hole. Why? Why do we go down this rabbit hole? I can tell you why. We want to belong. We want to belong. And because we want to belong, we will do whatever. Do your research. Half of those pastors got bad credit. Half of those pastors can't even buy a piece of licorice out the store with credit because the credit's so bad. They use their board members in their church to finance whatever they want to do. Don't you understand that? You got a broke joker that just came out of jail that started a church. He ain't got no credit. He ain't got no job, ain't never had no job, yet he's driving a Bentley. Why? Because everybody in the church that believed in him put their money and their credit on the line for the sake of the gospel so that this joker can ride around looking like a prince. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Enough's enough today. And I'm glad I got the mic today on this one here because I'm going to drop it like it's hot. Juanita Bynum, you are a liar. Creflo Dollar, you're a liar. Marvin Sapp, you're a liar. You're all liars in the pulpit. Now, see, I can respect Clarence McClendon because at least he's turned around to try and put out the truth now. But he was once the same person. I can talk about Bishop McClendon. Bishop McClendon, do you remember when me and you met and you yourself was the first person to introduce me to TBN, sir? Do you remember that? Do you remember taking me and my wife along with you and your wife to dinner so that we could talk up information of creating a network, sir? Do you remember, sir, that the word network then took the idea because one of the other greedy bishops wanted to get together with them, sir? I could tell you, folks, you hear me talk, but now you're in my zone. I could drop the truth like it's hot. My mouth has been closed for too many years, and here it is. I'm the one on the bottom of the totem pole after doing all the work for these jokers. Donnie McClurkin, do you remember before you started your church in New York that Malini, who was Bishop McClendon's engineer and broadcast director, married your sister and moved to New York to help you, sir? But I was confused because I was wondering if you and him had a relationship, but obviously it must have been the three of y'all. I'm going to tell her like it's hot. Oh yeah, it's on and popping, GG. You opened the right subject today, because I'm pissed off. 35 years I dealt with these liars, these homongers, these pastors that want to do it, raping other gospel artists for the sake of getting big. They won't tell you the truth, but I'm gonna tell you the truth today. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Juanita Bottom, when you came out with the song "No More Sheets," and Bishop Boyd's son produced it for you in the studio, in the church in Jamaica, Queens. Do you remember who sat across the table with you? Huh? Do you remember the same person you want to carry on the road with you to produce your films for you? Huh? Do you know who that is? I'm talking. It's me. I'm talking. I'm talking. See, I'm the Jaguar right of the gospel industry. The difference between me and Jaguars, I got the truth on my side. And I'm sick of y'all people. When BB and CC Winan first hit the ground at PTL, busting out their first song, Lord, lift us up where we belong, where the eagles fly on a mountain high, raising all that money for Jim Baker to do what? Go to jail. But gracefully speaking, CC Winans is an honorable person. She is not a money chaser. And when she realized where it was, she got out of there. Now, she is the only person in that industry of churching that I could say is righteous. Oh yeah, that's the only one. CC Winans, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. You guys watch the Word Network like it's a black-owned network. Kevin and Frank Adele had to start a church so that they become non-profit just to keep the network going. And what happens? Everybody sending their money to them. Hey, you want to pay $10,000 a week to be on a national network every time you broadcast, and to pay a company like Affiliate Media in Florida to say 1-800 Bishop 2. G.E. Patterson, all of them was the same. Most all of them used Affiliated Media because Affiliated Media was the company putting them on BET and other networks. All so y'all can drop them dollars. And y'all been dropping them so hot that they got jets, they got Bentleys, they got Ferraris, they got it all. They got it all. Meanwhile, my little old network trying to get up off the ground still.
Mhm.
Let's drop another dime. Go ahead. You was about to say something, Gigi?
Yeah. Okay. When I talk, I have to put you down because it's an echo. But for those that are coming in here, you might not know what's going on. I just want to break this report down for you guys. And if you guys have anything to say about it, please call in, hit that link at the top of the chat. So we're talking about Marvin Sapp. He is known to be the man of God, the man of the hour. Okay. With his music. You may know him with that, but also he is a minister. They are saying that he is close to God. God speaks to him, um, and speaks a word out of him. You understand? And a lot of people are upset because they feel that he pressured them for money and it's all about money. But you can tell, look at Marvin. He's wearing Christian Dior, European designers, and it's like, I don't know. If you're supposed to be the man of God, then why are you wearing worldly people clothing? Y'all don't got Christian brands? If I was one of those Christians like Marvin, ain't no way you gonna catch me in Gucci. Ain't no way you gonna catch me in Louis Vuitton. Hell no. Everything that I'm gonna be wearing, it's gonna be by my people, which is the people of God. Okay. But clearly these people don't feel like that. They want to showboat. They want you to know they got money. They want you to fit. They want to feel like they're better than everybody else by the money that they have. And that is so superficial. That is the opposite of being spiritual. Hell. Okay. I have more respect right now. And I'm not in no religions, but I have more respect. Well, shit, I don't know. Because I'm like, do I have more respect for the Muslims? Because I don't know what they got on. They just be having a cloth like a tablecloth. But hell, that could be designer too, right? I don't know. But if you just wear regular, just humble yourself without all that designer, I think I know I will have more respect for you spiritually because you're not of the world. And I just feel like when you are religion, that's how I was raised in a religious family. You're supposed to look different, talk different, walk different. You do not supposed to conform to the world. You shouldn't be listening to secular music, worldly movies, but it seems like these Christians, okay, they are so in tune with secular music. They know more of the rap songs than I do. And I don't even listen to rap. Okay. They are very in tune. Okay. And I don't understand how can you be spiritually and you so into your flesh at will. I don't know. When I was growing up in the church, it is so different. When people go to church back in the day, they went in one way and they left out a different way. Nowadays they go in. I see so many people get baptized, but they the same motherfucker. Okay, they cussing the same, they fornicating the same, they walking the same. Ain't no change. Ain't no change. You're supposed to have some change. I'm supposed to see a transition. Ain't no damn transition. And then the ones that are transition, it's a fake transition. Give them another year or two, they revert back, and then they come out talking about something. I did it for a man. I did it for this. I did it for that. Jokers. Ain't no power in the church no more. So anyway, Marvin Sapp, he demanded $40,000 from his congregation during service, okay? Claiming it was for a small seed, okay? I guess sow a seed. If you want a blessing, you need to donate $10 right now. And I'm telling you guys right now, if you guys want a blessing, you guys need to hit my Cash App, $10. Okay. If you want to see a miracle by next week, I need you to drop at least $100 in my Cash App. Do you understand? But you got to have faith. If you have faith, then it will come. Okay? Yes, yes. All right, God says so. Now drop that money. Okay, so let's go here. It says he instructed ushers to lock the doors. So they're in the church building. He told them ushers, lock all them doors. Ain't nobody leaving here. We gonna get that money, lock all these damn doors. Ain't nobody leaving here until y'all give me that money. Okay? And this is what God says. Don't be disobedient. Don't be disobedient. Okay? You can't take that $20 with you when you die. This is your soul is at stake. Drop that money. I know you got it. Hell, y'all ain't going nowhere but the restaurants, getting your back bigger. Okay? Y'all want to have a big back summer? And let's talk about that gluttony, because you know that's a sin too. All that eating y'all doing, you know that ain't right. You know that ain't right. Okay, so let's keep on going on. It says 1,000 people were asked to give $20 each, both in person and online. So the people that was in church and the people that was online looking at this while I was streaming, they were asked to give $20 as well, creating a lot of pressure, a lot of public embarrassment for those who could not afford it. So if you didn't have money, you felt like less than, because you felt like he was calling you out. God damn, you don't got $20. You know you sad when you don't got $20. Okay. People looking at you like, damn, that's sad. You don't got $20. Everybody's working, you would think. But times is hard. We are in a damn recession. Be thankful that I got here at the church because of gas and so on and so forth. You got to put on clothes and stuff like that. You got to use the water for the shower and stuff. Everything costs. But he feel like you guys are anointed. You guys are blessed by God. If you've been living right, then you should be blessed. And if you don't got that money, that lets me know you have not been living right. Okay? Yeah. God don't bless mess. And if you ain't been living right, then you is a mess. And if you've been living right, I know God is going to bless you because God bless his people. Okay? So they said for those who seated in the pulpit were told to give $100. So people that was in the pulpit, they was like, hey, he was like, give me 100. He needed 100 from them. It states that it costs to sit up here, reinforcing a play-to-play church culture. Okay. So if you were sitting, I guess, at a certain area closer to him, he was expecting for you to give him $100 at least, minimum. Okay, because he know they got it. No, you see it. So what's his name? Marvin Sapp. Okay, encourage people to come to the altar and give visibly. So just not passing a plate around, because some churches, they have a plate and you can just pass that plate around and you can just give it in there. When I was growing up in a certain churches, you put it in an envelope and you put your name or whatever on there and you just drop it there. But he wanted people to come up to the altar. And that's more embarrassing people that don't have it. He wanted to make a spectacle. He wanted to make a show about this. And it's creating a public performance of tithing and potentially shaming for those who stay seated. So people that stay seated, they got talked about. They got dogged out. That's a damn shame. He or she don't got $20, to give to the man of God, to give to God. You're just selfish. We see you with your hair done. We see you with your nails. I know you got all them kids. You don't got $20. What type of mama is you? What type of Christian is you? You can't even give the man of God $20. The message that he just told you, it spoke truth in your life. It saved your life. It gives you more motivation to go on in this road when it's hard. So what is $20 when a man of God is speaking a word to you that can really save your life and save so many others, but that's how some church people were looking at other people that was sitting down and didn't have no money. And it made the people that didn't have no money that stayed seated, it made them feel so bad. So social media erupted. So it was streaming. He knows this, And a lot of people on the internet that was watching this, they were so upset. They were so mad about this shit. Okay. It says that Marvin, he's a spiritual manipulator. He's greedy. and it felt like cult-like behavior. That's what people are saying. It felt cult-like behavior. Well, I think it probably is. But a lot of religions are cult-like behavior. Shit, when I was growing up in religion, it was very cult-like. Shit, I think it was a cult, to be honest with you. But anyway, it says critics liked Marvin tactics to Diddy. So they are comparing Marvin Sapp to Diddy, okay? Saying the church is becoming more of an intimidation and optics than spirituality, okay? But you know what? To me, this is nothing new. You know, when I was growing up in certain churches, because I've been in different churches, I've been in Lutheran church, I've been Catholics, I've been in Baptist, I've been a non-denominational Christian, and they all got different things how they deal with it. You know, when I went to the Catholics and the Lutheran churches, they never did no stuff like this. It's not a concert when you go there. You know, sometimes it can be kind of boring if you expect all that rah-rah, if you expect people to yell at you and get all up in your face, because the Catholics and Lutherans, they don't do all that. Okay, now the Catholics, they will. It's kind of intimate to be a Catholic because they'll pull you in the back, and every week you got to talk to the Pope in this little thing. I can't see his face, he can't see mine, and I got to confess something. Okay, they not gonna let me leave out that booth without confessing something. I'll be like, I ain't seeing this week. I ain't do nothing wrong. They're like, you did something wrong. Just confess. Just confess. Okay. I just be making up some shit. Okay. So I can get out that booth. I don't want to say nothing to you, man. I don't know you like that. But anyway, when it comes to the Baptists, you know, my experience with Baptists is very aggressive. You know, they'll call you out, they intimidate you. You know, they'll make a big spectacle in front of everybody. They like to embarrass you to make a point. It's more of a dictatorship in my experience, okay? So let's keep on going here. So to me, this is nothing new. You know, I don't see probably an issue to certain people, but to me, it's like this is how they get down. I've been through that. So many faithful express discomfort, saying the tactic is praise on people fears. It preys on guilt. It preys on desire of belonging. You know, people that want to belong here. The scandal joins a pattern of modern tele telepreachers using manipulation to entract money, to get money, while living in a luxury, often tax-free life. Okay, so they live the life. Okay, they got the big cars, the big houses, and they said, well, you know, they are blessed by God because, you know, they live righteous and they're the chosen one. You know, everybody can't be chosen, but they are the chosen one. And God wants to reward his chosen people. And God can reward you if you have donated and be obedient, okay? But he's not going to reward you if you are steady being disobedient. You want to hold on to that $20 for what? When you give, God will give to you in abundance, more than you can ever dreamed of. This is the test right now to donate. Okay, don't fail this test. Don't fail it because you might not get another chance tomorrow. When you walk out that door and something happened, because we know life can happen just like this, you know? Do you want God to remember you as a thief, as not giving? I don't know about y'all, but I'll give my last, you know? That's how they be talking in church, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so I'm just joking. I'm joking. Okay, but that's how they be talking in church. So I want to know your thoughts about this. They are saying that he did respond to the backlash, and pretty much he used a scripture to try to say that, you know, what he did was right. Also, it's another person in play. His name is Bishop Mark. And it says, stated the night off. I guess Bishop Mark, he started the night off by auctioning off blessings. Okay. He asked for 800 for new blessings. Okay. If you want a new blessing, are you tired of living paycheck to paycheck? Huh? Are you tired of living in that apartment Are you tired of driving in that same old car? You want God to bless you? You need to sow 800 right now so you can get your new blessings this year. You understand? We are in a season of spring. Everything is blossoming. Don't you F around and find out. Okay? You better donate that $800 if you want a new blessing. And foreclosure. I know a lot of you guys are going through stuff with your mama, with your daddy, and that relationship is tearing you apart. If you want closure from any type of relationship, this is your chance right now in the spiritual realm to give $500. And I can guarantee you will receive closure. It could be from your mama from 15 years ago, your daddy right now. Okay, so that's what they were doing in the church before Marvin started to do his thing. Okay, Bishop Mark started it off. Okay, suggesting divine rewards came with a price. Amen. Okay, hello, everybody ain't worthy. Everybody ain't worthy. Okay. So Marvin said after that bishop said what he said, getting his money, Marvin came up and said, I'm not going to challenge you like Bishop did. But then proceeded to target 1,000 people to give $20. Okay. So Mark, he started off with asking them to give $800 each and $500 each. And Marvin said he's not going to do you like he did you. So just give me 20. Okay. And I believe that these men, they always do this type of stuff. This is nothing new when it comes into the church. Most of the people in the church, they say, is Black women and homosexuals. So they always take their money. And they always take this money. Okay. So I guess to the ladies and the gay men out there, why do you always give y'all money like this? Okay. Because the straight men said they're not going for it. The straight men been left the damn church. Okay. They say they ain't nothing but a gimmick. No way. Okay. All right. So let's continue on here. Leadership was expected to give 100 or more, which we stated. Churchgoers, the people that was there, were not allowed to leave because Marvin told everybody to lock that goddamn door. Y'all not leaving here. And the doors were locked. Okay. Okay. Marvin tried to defend himself with a long-winded biblical explanation, claiming that this was about currency and stewardship. Okay. Not control. Okay. The church recently received a $1.2 million grant meant to help pastors, okay, raising suspicions about the real motivations behind these dramatic fundraisers. Hell, these pastors, they want to live up good. Y'all already know they got mistresses out here. Okay, they got to pay their hoes. They got to pay for the new Gucci purse for their wife. They got to pay for the Chanel bags. They got to pay for the Bentleys, the Rolls Royce. They want to have a big house. They want to have a pool in the back with a sauna. Okay. They want to live the best of the best, honey. So you got to give them their money, honey. Okay. I ain't mad at pimping. Okay. I'm kidding. But call in because I want to hear what y'all got to say about this. After all, a lot of you guys do continue to go to these churches, so you guys feel a certain way. So call in and let us know how you really feel about it, okay? So critics say this was nothing more than a spiritual shakedown, mass as ministry, exploiting the most vulnerable with promises of healing, closure, and favor in exchange for that cash, okay? Marvin claimed people misunderstood the context, yet the doors were literally locked while he said, make sure you come this way before you leave. See me. See me right now. See me. Many viewers are calling this event financially abuse, wrapped in praise music and comparing it to emotional extortion. Okay. under the guise of worship. Okay. Well, church is always going to get in your emotions, especially in the Black churches, because they always play that music to make you feel some type of way. And they be yelling at you with all this emotion. It's just nothing but filled with emotion. Okay. Okay, I know because that's how I experienced it. I was raised in the church. Okay, sometimes from my experience. Okay. All right. So questions are raising about God or what was about meeting the budget for a mega conference and busting egos. All right. So I want to know, do we have anybody up here? I'm going to look in the comments section. You guys need to come up here now. Shit, y'all wanted me to do this topic, but y'all ain't coming up here. What's up? Hell. Okay. All right. So let me look here and see what you guys are saying. This is why I do my own church. Okay. Well, you know what? They are saying this about you people that want to do your own church. You can't do that because in the scripture somewhere, don't quote me, every sheep need a shepherd. You know, you need a leadership. You can't do it by yourself, especially if you're a woman out here. You need a man. You need a man that's anointed by God. And you know, well, okay, well, it's a lot of women pastors. See, back in my day, they didn't have no women pastors. Women could not sit on no pulpit and do no talking. Okay, things have changed. Okay, but yeah, you know, of course, do what you want to do. I'm just talking. Your skin looks flawless, GG. God bless. Oh, thank you. You know, I put some makeup on today. Okay, I'm about to take this shit off with my next thing. Okay, thank you. I don't like it though. I don't like it. It ain't hitting like I thought it was gonna hit. Okay. I don't know if it's the hair piece. I don't know. I don't like it. Okay. Okay. It says you is telling truth. Thank you, April. April, get down here. You know I love talking to you, girl. All right. Marvin straight jacking, kidnapping people. Lord, unlock the doors, part the sea. Common sense. Let's not do that about the man of God. Common sense. Because these people, they knew what this was about. This ain't the first time Marvin did this. This ain't the first time these pastors have done this. They have done it. I told you when I was young, they was doing shit like this. Okay? That ain't nothing new. This is nothing new. Y'all already know what's up. So I don't know why you playing like you the victim. You didn't talk to God and you didn't have discernment to say, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't go this route. Maybe this is not for me. Okay? Whew, my goodness. Michelle said, y'all got to pay for them BBLs. That's where them $200 going to, them BBLs. Is that where they're going to, Michelle, them BBLs? You know, that's a damn shame. And let me talk about them BBLs because them BBLs is not of God. That ain't nothing but vanity, okay? That ain't nothing but vanity. You are putting your life on the line for vanity. And what did God say about vanity and pride? Oh my God. And that's what they're doing, Michelle. And they should be ashamed of themselves. $20. Okay. I know y'all working. Okay. And y'all should be with a husband that's working. Okay. What it say in the Bible? A man that don't work, don't eat. And you shouldn't be with no man that ain't working. Okay. That's Bible. So it's something wrong with you. Okay. Last days, God will pour out the spirit in all flesh. Ooh, go ahead, Mary. I ain't never seen nothing like what he did, and I was raised in the Black church. See, you ain't go to the good church because the good church, they're going to call you out. You know what I'm saying? And see, it's a test to see how attached are you to that money. Okay, it ain't nothing but paper. It ain't nothing but paper. You cannot take $20 with you in heaven, honey. Okay? It don't mean nothing. Why you holding on to that $20 so strong? You don't understand what God has told Marvin to do and what thing he has for the people of God. Right now, we are in spiritual warfare, and you need money in this war. Okay? Okay. You need money in this war. He is going against principles and all these demonic forces that got big money that's trying to silence the church, that is attacking the church, okay? And he cannot tell y'all everything that he's going to do because the enemy is listening. And see, a lot of y'all allow Satan to use y'all to go against the man of God, okay? Oh, hey, y'all ain't gonna come up here and say nothing. Okay, y'all not gonna come up here and say nothing. Stop this, Mrs. Sapp was wrong as two left shoes. What, Sharon, come up here and tell it and tell us why he was wrong. See, this is another issue. You guys are saying he's wrong, but you guys are not going to come up here and verbally say why he's wrong. You have a voice right now. Allow it to be used, because one day in America, that freedom will be taken away. You know, this is the one little country, a big country, that you could be freedom of expression right now. I mean, you can't do too much freedom, but a lot of these countries, they're not going to allow it. So use your voice. If he's wrong, as two left shoes, then come up here and let us know why. Okay. See, y'all allow it because you guys are so silent with it. Tell me this. At the church, all those people there, why wasn't one person get up and say, no, I disagree with you, this is wrong? Why didn't they protest? Okay. Why didn't you say no? Why they gotta wait until they leave the church to talk shit behind his back? Y'all scared? Y'all scared because y'all know the spirit of the anointing was there, and God would have set your ass down. Okay? God would have set that ass down. That's why you knew you could not get out of hand at that church at that time right there, because the spirit of God was all up in there. Okay. And then you want to leave and allow Satan to plant seeds in your head to go up against the church. I get so sick and tired of every day y'all got something negative to say about the church, about the real man of God. Okay, hold on. All right, so I'm getting somebody to come up here. Purpose Multiple, how's it going?
How are you doing, Goddess? How are you doing?
Good. So what are your thoughts about this? Are you for Marvin or against Marvin?
I'm for Marvin. I actually know Marvin a little bit. I've known him a little while, and I know there's good reasons why he do what he do. Now, granted, I'm not into religion anymore. Period. I don't do that. I respect those who do. To each his own. But with Marvin, I know him, and he's a good guy. And as you stated so well, you don't know why he's accumulating the money he is, because there are much evil forces that are, he's having to oppose against. We're living in a time where it's war. It's an invisible war that's happening. And, I look at things now. Somebody mentioned that, oh, they don't do that in Texas, but they so easily forget, Joe Osteen closed his doors to people who were drowning in the Hurricane Katrina. They forget about that, but we see all of these white people get a pass. That's another thing that I do not.
I'm glad you're here, Purpose Multiple, and I'm glad that you have the courage to speak up, because a lot of these people in this comment section don't. And let me tell you, Sharon, she said you can't hold people against their will. What people? Those are his people. Those people gave their soul to that church, gave their soul to God. So those are his people, okay? They are following under his leadership. Those are his people. He disciplined them how he sees fit, okay? Don't you dare get up here and try to manipulate these people. Where you want them to go? Huh? To the circus freak Olay? To lose their soul to Satan himself? Huh? No, we're not going to have that. I'm trying to bait your ass come up here. But okay, go ahead. Go ahead, multiple people. Purpose multiple.
Yeah, I've seen much more hectic tactics I've seen much more hectic tactics for to accumulate ties. That's light work. But the thing, even before I even left ministry and all of those things, I discovered that tithing was longer, so they have to accumulate for these large churches that people sit in and get all kind of benefits. They have to accumulate funds. This stuff, running a church, is a business. It is not cheap. It's really not. I know they see the planes and the cars, these pastors, but they don't know the whole expense of things. I mean, you got these pastors are worldwide ministry pastors, and I'm not saying all pastors are good, but all I'm just saying, I just happen to know Marvin. I
What
know
you
where.
want your pastor, the man of God, to have the best, to
Yeah,
drive the best, to be in the best. After all those souls that he saved, are you kidding me? He is doing God's work. He is a soldier for God. And how dare you try to question that and manipulate it about that? Nobody questioned about that wig you got on or them nails, how much them nails cost. Okay? So spare me with that. Spare me. Hold on, Purpose Multiple. Let's get Marsh. How you doing, Marsh?
How you doing, Miss Gigi?
Good. Talk to me. Are you for Marvin or against Marvin?
I'm for the church, Miss Gigi, and you got a right to feel the way you feel, and this young man got a right to feel the way he feel. It's just that you can't make people be saved if they don't want to be. You can't save everybody. You
well,
just,
Well,
he's not necessarily trying to save them.
man,
He's trying to accumulate his just due because he's rendering a service.
but he can't force that on anybody either.
but
He's not forcing it.
that's not anybody. Those people are his people. They
No,
decide to be,
God's people. Those are God's
they
people.
are following under his leadership.
Okay.
Under his leadership.
Okay.
They can go to any other church, but they are a member at his leadership at that church.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But I
So
just feel
that is their people.
as
Every church
my church,
does things differently. Like every
right?
religion
It does.
does things differently. They have different morals, different values, and all that and that. So and I bet you it ain't nothing but Satan trying to twist this around, trying to make it perverted
It
to
is.
go
It
against the
really is.
church.
It really is. They
Well, this a disrespect. If you listen at it,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
it's it's a dis and I think she's on her mouth mic is mute. But it's a disrespect to even be walking in and out, even if that wasn't the church, any place where there's a service being conducted or a speech being conducted, it's a disrespect and really not good for people to be walking in and out. So he wanted to capture people attention. He like, look, stop all this shit, stop the walking, y'all gonna listen. And this is what and you notice the people that couldn't give, he was like, don't worry about it. Still, come put your hands up on offering, whatever the method was. But he wasn't like, oh, go take their money out their pocket, snatch their damn purse. He won't like that. So the man was just trying to captivate his audience and show them the importance because these people are benefiting the churches. They're not telling you how many meals this man have fed behind closed doors, how many people he's canceled, how many houses he's visited personally to these people. These people sit under his leadership. They're getting services, and anywhere else you go in to get services, you're gonna pay for something. I used to run a bar, and you know who the worst kind was?
Yeah.
Black folks. Let's be honest. They'll go over there and get some cheap ass watered down liquor from another bar, and I asked them for $5 for a damn Long Island iced tea that'll hit you in the chest, and they got problems. So I'm like I said, I'm not in religion, but I'm very observant. I have to be fair in my observation. I can't go along with all this stuff they paint on media because, for one thing, media is always gonna paint the good bad, and that's what people are failing to see. You got to see beyond the veil.
And
Yeah.
I gotta say something too. That church get attacked all the time, every year, every season. And you don't know what he has done to sacrifice to keep that house and to keep that church standing afloat to help you and or his people to get closer to God. Because every day his people is getting attacked by Satan, they're getting influenced by Satan, and you need good leadership. And if God told him to do that, he has to be obedient to God. He don't owe you no explanation. He don't have to be obedient to you. And if you are a child of God, then you have to learn obedience of the word, and you have to learn obedience of your pastor or your bishop. And that's the problem with y'all. Y'all want to do it your way. Y'all want to have the mind of your own. Y'all want to conform to the world. Enough is enough. And then, Francis, you said man can't save anyone. Only God can save us. Let me tell you something. You have to have someone to teach you the word. Okay? Most people, they would tell you, I was introduced by the word from such and such. That's why Jehovah's Witnesses go knocking at every door just to give that opportunity to say, hey, would you like to get to know such and such or whatever? You know, so you want to paint this picture where God is going to come knocking on your door. And see, that's a trick from Satan himself, because you want people to go to their own understanding. God left you the book, okay? And that book don't change, okay? So you don't want to be obedient. That's a disobedient mind. That's a mind you want to be rebellious, and you want to do things your own way, and you want to seek on your own understanding. But go ahead, Miss Marsh.
I was just, I agree with both of you guys. I like Mr. Sapp. Don't get me wrong. I like him. I love his music. I listen to his music sometimes going to work. So I can't, I'm not judging anybody. It's just that the way that I was brought up, that you just can't say, you can't make people do something. I mean, people play like they want to do something, or say they want to go to church, or say they believe in God. And like you said, if you can't go to church and then come out and do the same thing you was doing when you went in there. Because
Well, Miss Marsh, I got a question to ask you, right?
Mhm.
All right. You listen, you just said you listen at Marvin Sapp's music and you enjoy his music and everything. Let me ask you, how
Mhm.
many times have you said, look, I'm gonna donate and mail him a check? Because I listen at this man's music and I enjoy, I get a spiritual, high off it, or I get enjoyment. It enlightens me, it fills my spirit. How many times, let's be honest, how many times have you sent him
I
an offering?
I have not, to be, and
Right, hold on. Wait on. So this is the point I'm trying to make. So shit, let's just go look at this for what it is. Since people like you and other folks out there that getting benefited, so many people benefiting way more than his church. This man still, that shows you how much contribution he's not getting for his energy that's being put out. It's called an energy exchange. This man ain't even receiving an energy exchange, not even remotely of how many people he's reaching. But because he closed the doors, and mind you, when you sign up for Christianity, you sign up for somebody to get killed sometime. The God in the Bible itself ain't that nice at times. There's God been striking people down, killing folk. Look, you sign up for this life. That's really what it is. If this man said close the damn door, I'm accumulate my money. Even Paul in the Bible, he said, if I communicate to you these things which are spiritual, why can't you communicate me these things which are carnal? And you know what Paul ended up doing? He said, fuck all y'all, I'm going to build tents. That's what he did. He said, I'm going to back to my occupation. Forget y'all, least it be a hindrance to the gospel. Now, paraphrasing, but you can look, I do my homework. I know the Bible inside and out. And I'm telling you, if you haven't given, imagine the people that's cheating this man out of money. But we got a problem being a black man. I'll say that again, close the door. When we got all these white folks out here with big ass ministries doing God knows what, serving to soul their soul. And you got to remember what the war is.
About the
The
purpose. Now B says he still don't have to lock the doors. That's imprisonment. Why they didn't call the cops? Huh? Why they didn't call the cops if that's imprisonment? If somebody kidnapped, see, y'all want to come up here and y'all want to pervert this. Y'all want to make it something that it's not. If any of those black people that was in that church was in prison and kidnapped like y'all trying to make it, why didn't they call 911? I'll wait. We haven't heard no 911 calls from in that church. So stop it.
So is he in jail now?
No. Is he?
I don't know. I mean, I done seen it. I done seen it online that he's supposed to be in jail. That the FBI, somebody, went and
Or
picked.
is that another false report?
It could be. It could be another.
Yeah. And you got to understand what's happening. Look at the big picture, not just the church, but every force, everything that's out here that is doing good in some type of way is under attack. It don't even have to be the church. It could be music. Notice what's being promoted in the music industry. Look at Angie Stone just a while ago. Any light at all from any angle is being attacked right now. So of course they're gonna come after the church. They're gonna come after everything that is good. And so you got to understand what spiritual warfare is. Again, I'll say to you, I haven't been to a church in about 20 years. I've left that life alone, but I'm spiritual and I can recognize the BS behind what the media promotes. The media promotes, hey, this place, they're over there right now committing genocide against Pakistan, Palestinians right now, just killing people. And they ain't even the real Jews. And the media promotes over here in America, oh, that's good. That's a good thing. It's not a good thing. We have to stop being cowards and calling things for what it is, even when it don't feel good or we not used to it, even when it feels uncomfortable. We got to start standing up for what is right and what is balanced. And you got to start seeing behind the veil, and you have to be able to recognize the tricks that the enemy is putting before your eyes, because what you think you see is not necessarily what is. Anything on media, you got to know that all of these guys are intertwined together. The media, the same people control the media, controls the music industry. They the ones killing people. So of course they gonna talk about Marvin Sapp.
Hold on, I don't want to go too far with all the other people. But someone says you cannot stop people from leaving. Who stopped somebody? I didn't see a lot of people running out that door. Did Miss Marsh, did you
I
see
didn't.
people
No,
running out that door?
no, I did not. I did not.
And so stop with the lies.
Nobody off the pulpit.
Stop with the lies.
Yeah, so like I said, I like Mr. Sapp, and I'm not the one to judge anybody, but I just feel the way that I feel. Like I said, you just can't save everybody, and I know you supposed to treat people the way you want to be treated and try to help people, but some people you just can't help. They
Yeah,
just some
I don't think it
people.
was a point where he was trying to save everybody. God gave him instructions and he was being obedient.
Yeah, and when you put it that way, I understand, and I can't.
And God was really doing something spiritual, and it had nothing to do with money. It had everything with doing with healing, with closure,
Yeah,
with people are struggling right now. This is a recession. And if you are spiritual and you believe in the power of word, you believe that, when you speak something and you believe with your faith that it will be done. I mean, we are talking about faith believers here. We're
yeah,
not talking about the average Joes. Of course, they're going to see an issue with it because they're not spiritual.
right. Well, I'm very spiritual, so I understand. Like I said, I just didn't know the whole depth of the story, but now that you put it in where I can understand what really went on, and hey,
And I want to say, I've been wanting to come up to your platform a long time ago. I've been watching you for a long time, and I would say I appreciate your energy and your presence for your platform. And there are some enemies that are from the top that do not want your platform, but please do not cower from your fight, from your everyday, you know, uh, due diligence that you put out every day, because it's needed. I think more and more of us need to stop being afraid to speak out. And again, I hate to bring Angie into a whole nother topic, but her is just, this was my mama and my sister. I take that personal with Angie. It was personal. I think that's what a lot of people are feeling, because she could have been your mama, your sister. She loved us, you
But
know.
yes, you're a sister in Christ. If we are Christ-like, that is your sister in Christ. Make no mistake about it.
that's right. And he right, Miss Gigi. I want to agree with him. Don't you stop doing what you're doing. I've been wanting to get up here too, but I work so many crazy hours. But
Right.
it is another story that I think you should cover, and it's about It's about this young girl was in the car with her boyfriend. She was a sister of a rapper in Memphis, and the police did a pit maneuver on them and killed his sister here like the earlier part of this week. My son was murdered by a pit maneuver from
So sorry to hear that.
Thank you. And I really I have written a book. I'm trying to raise awareness on what these polices be doing. And when I saw this, it's just hit so close to home because I'm not telling people not to pull over, but we have a right to pull over in a spot to feel safe as Black people. Because if these young boys know, because it was a young guy driving, I don't mean to change the subject, y'all, I'm sorry, but it was a young guy driving, and everybody was like, he ran for like 18 miles. Miss Gigi, you just look it up and you get the information.
Okay,
And
I'll look it up.
and,
I'll look it up.
and you
Or
do
just
talk
send me through
about
email. Better yet, send me through email or hit me on my IG.
okay.
Now, Middleton said they were scared. Who was scared? Those Christians in that church were scared. Why would they be scared? If God is in the building, why would they be scared? They must have been guilty of something. Why would they be scared? You in church. Why are you feeling for the church? You act as if the man of God pulled out a pow and was about to take people out of here. You see how you're trying to pervert this and try to make it so negative?
I don't
After,
think scared. I don't think they were scared. I don't think they were scared. And I don't even really think anybody even really said anything that was in there. It's besides the people that maybe didn't have any money to
it's
get.
the people that's the outsiders that's looking in that are not spiritual, that are not members.
Right. That's
And
what
they
You
don't
know,
understand. They are outsiders.
but But even with this whole topic with Marvin, we don't know if this a distraction because there's been so much heat on these people who kill Angie. We don't know that they sent out somebody in to put this topic up about Marvin. They'll do anything to distract us from because all of us are so focused on Angie. The heat is on. So they would put anything. They'll go have a police kill somebody, anything to get us off this topic. I think we really need to horn in together. Paperwork is doing a good job too, but horn in together and keep riding their ass with Angie until we see this one through. Let's just stay on one case, ride this out, because that's what they want. They want to easily distract us with anything. It could be church, a damn goat. It don't matter. We need to stay on Angie. And that's my message from God right now. I swear to you, we need to stay on Angie because we get these motherfuckers who did this to her down. I'm telling you, that's going to speak volumes. That's going to be, we need a movement. A movement is something that's continued into action is taken and change has happened. We need to stay on Angie. Don't get distracted by all this other stuff. We need to stay on Angie until we get these motherfuckers. We really do. Excuse my
Let's
expression.
like your language. Now, Jackson says, I go to a Baptist church in Illinois and I give what I want to give. That's your problem right there. It's not about what you want. If God says to do this, then you have to learn obedience. You're not obedience. You do what you want to do. No. And can afford to give. I understand when it comes to afford, but if you have it, and if the man of God, your leadership is saying one thing, and that is the message he gets from God, and you're being disobedient, you're going to have to pay for that. Okay? God knows your heart. God knows what you can give. You can't fool God. God knows what you holding on to. God knows you holding on for that money for that Beyonce concert. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to talk about these concerts y'all going to. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
and forgive me. I apologize for my language. I just got passionate, and so forgive me for my language. I really apologize for that. But again, I just think this is one of those things where it's a distraction. Anything is a distraction right now because not that it's not important, but the situation with Angie is really something that we really need to look at. Like continue to ride them until
We're
we
going
get
to get
justice.
on Angie at 10 o'clock. If you guys don't know, I have another report about Angie Stone at 10 o'clock. But right now, let's get on the church while we got a little bit more time too. I don't
Okay,
want to waste
understood.
time with it. And it seems like a lot of people in this comment section they be feeling some type of way. But I dare you, I challenge you. hit that link and come up here and express yourself. And it's sad that you guys can't do that, but you're so passionate about it, but you won't speak up. You won't speak up for what you believe in. And see, that's another issue. You want people that have strong faith, that have a leader to follow what? To follow foolishness, because you don't even know where you're going. You have no idea where you're going. No direction, no leadership, nobody to check you because you do what you want to do. That's what you do. You do what you want to do. Marsh, you got something else to say? They done got Marsh.
Yeah, but there's a greater prison that's happening. That's a mental prison. A lot of people are mentally in prison right now. They're talking about closing doors, but they're paying money for a lot of other things than other than Pastor Marvin Sapp, that's rendering a good service.
Yeah, stop with the foolishness. So if he asks you for all your money, he wouldn't ask me for all my money. So stop with the fool. See, you making up bull crap that is not reality because you don't deal with reality. Stop it. And you just want to be negative and you want to put fear mongering. And then what are you going to do with the people of God? You want them to leave the church and go where? To twerk online? You want them to join only fan page? And look how their life is panning out. Just destructive. They're just as miserable as I don't know what. You got that girl, Batty, that white girl. She got all that money from OnlyFans. And she's out there with a man that put paws on her. She's just as miserable. She's always on the internet fighting. She don't have a peace of mind. No peace of mind at all. And that is what you want for them, don't you? You want them to be miserable and messed up like you. It ain't gonna happen. All right. So would you say to God, tell him to say that? Like I say, foolishness. Why would I entertain this? It's just foolishness. Just making up bull crap. Foolishness. Miss Marsha ain't saying nothing no more. Marsh gone. I see something. Yeah, Marsh done go. On her line. Something that internet. These pastors should tell our people the truth. They know we are revelation, but they keep blind. Well, Pixel, why don't you come up here and tell us the truth? Pixel Glam. And that is an issue. If you know the truth and you have over 600 people here that can listen to your word and be inspired and spread it, why are you keeping it hostage? Because maybe it ain't the truth. Maybe you just talking. I call your bluff. You just talking because if you really had the truth, you'll come up here, right? If you had the truth and you wanted to spread awareness and you knew in your hearts of hearts that you were right, ain't nothing in the world will stop you from telling people, hey, don't go in that house. The house is burning down. Nothing. All you doing is being a distraction. You just talking. You just talking. And want people to try to figure out and play these guessing games and all that. See, in the Bible, it's clear, black and white. Okay? None of all that. None of all that confusion. Marsh,
can you hear me?
Calling you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you real good now.
Just over here talking, y'all ain't heard nothing.
Say it again. Say it again.
I said all of the grandmothers and the great grandmothers and the great aunties and everybody done died off, and these people done grew up doing what they want to and thinking they gonna go to heaven just because they say they believe in God, and I always got something to say, when something like this happened and how they, and it's just crazy to me.
Who told them that, Marsh? Who told them they was gonna go to heaven just because they believe in God? That's a lie.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That is a lie.
But see, Marsh, if you have leadership, you understand?
And
your leader,
most of them don't have leadership.
Your leader, the pastor, will teach you and go through, the steps that you have to take. And it's only to your benefit, Marsh. If you decide you want to go to heaven? How could you go when you got a reprobate mindset?
Right. That's right. You're right, DJ.
And they complaining about some doors closed. Do you know what Peter did? Since somebody said, "Oh, that's Old Testament," let's move to the New Testament and look what the great Peter, the guy who walked in Jesus' footstep, did. When Peter was sitting at the first church in the book of Acts, people came to give their offering. In particular, Ananias and Sapphira came in there and didn't give on honest about their giving. Guess what happened to them? They both end up dead right there in the church. So gotta be careful about, you're talking about a measly door being closed. This man operating the spirit. You died for your transgressions and your dishonesty back then.
That's right.
All right. So, Mar, how's it going? Mar, are you there, Mar?
You
Mar,
talk.
I'm here.
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
here.
yeah, I think it's a
I
lag.
like to say, thank you.
Okay.
All right, we good? Okay. I like to say thank you for having me on your platform. I've been watching you for a little bit, and you're like one of my favorites. And speaking on this topic, I used
Okay, Mar, something is going on. It was a lag. That's why I was being quiet, but it seemed like something else is going on. So I'm going to
yeah,
pull you down, okay? I'm so sorry.
Talking about the spirit, baby. It's real. That's what it is. He gonna come back. He gonna come back.
All right, TT said, who wrote the Bible? The Bible was written by 66 men. I don't know each one of those names, okay? But it was written by 66 different men. So was they white? I don't know what race they were. I don't know. But
You
what
know, and
Mar?
I don't just talk the talk. I'm just saying I played for the church Oregon 3 years free of charge. I didn't charge anything. See, when you mean to
Right.
be in the church and giving dedication of your life to God, you're willing to do what's necessary. And you know, the fact that this man feel like he has to ask or close the door, we don't know. Again, you don't know what he's fighting up against. We always complaining about things. But I played for the church free. Nobody didn't give me anything. Now, however, if I was to demand that money that was owed to me, people feeling good and crying and under the anointing and going home with their problems and all these things are solved through music. Look, we need to lay off that. You don't know what Pastor Marvin Sapp is doing behind the scenes for
Well,
people.
I'm seeing it as a test, God will test you. And it was a test. And that's why he needed the doors to be closed, because he needed everybody to focus up. This is life and death. This is a test. And he wanted his people to focus because he knows that test, that moment, it meant so much. And so many people will be walking out, distracting others from missing out on their blessing. And he did not want to cheat the people of God like that. So that's why he wanted to focus. That's all that was. So people would not be walking around talking and leaving and being disrespectful when he is trying to do something. Okay. But see, you guys, you wasn't raised to have respect for authority. When I go to different places, when people are speaking, you should see how many grown folks, y'all still having these side conversations. You don't have no discipline. You don't know how to respect others. You don't respect your elders. You don't respect superior. You're so
Absolutely.
entitled.
So right. So right.
Okay, we have Michelle here and Monica. Well, I don't know what happened to Michelle. Monica, talk to me. How
Hello.
you doing? Or Miss Davis? Yeah, Monica, I did it right. How you doing? Monica?
Can you
Ooh,
hear me?
I'm it's a struggle, but I want to just continue to talk. Okay. So I guess people coming up here, they're not used to it. So when you come up here, if you can, mute everything so it won't be a lag and we can just hear you and just talk to us. Monica, are you there? All right. Michelle came back. Michelle, are you there?
I'm trying to, can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you wonderfully, Michelle.
Okay. Hold on. I'm trying to, I got some background noises. I'm trying to learn how to work this thing here. Hold on for a second.
And I
Give
don't
me
hear
a
anything,
second here.
Michelle. So just speak if you can. If you can, Michelle, please just speak because I don't hear no background noises.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. Hold on.
Okay, Monica, are you there? Okay. Monica? Okay, I'm gonna let you go, Monica. Okay. All right. Ooh, all right. Well, I have to we have to get ready to close it up. It's sad where we have so many people outraged, but they did not have the courage to come up here and speak. And that's sad. That is very sad because I really wanted to talk to you all to try to get an understanding. But I see now it's clear as day.
Well, they got a problem with that. They'll have a hard time at a Chinese monastery. You being shot in because you don't go in and out. In other religions, you don't walk in and out of their temples anyway, and it's out of respect.
Yeah, a lot of people wasn't raised right. See, when we was raised, our parents told us, "You gonna sit your butt down. You're not gonna go in and out this house, in and out as you please." Okay? Y'all don't have
Right.
discipline. They do what they want to do.
Yep. You're
Okay,
so right.
Well,
Michelle,
I
are
would
you
like
Okay, I
Michelle?
think what the problem was, I had two windows open at the same time. I'm sorry. I think I'm okay now.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Well, the first thing I wanted to say, and I've been kind of getting bits and pieces of this particular story concerning Marvin Sapp, of course, on the internet and on YouTube and such. And I don't know what you all have discussed, but this was like a Pentecostal convention, right, that took place. And so there were several ministers there, and it's like a whole convention for the whole Pentecostals assembly across, I guess, across the United States. That was already established. So as I understand, there was already an offering. Did you all see that? There was already an offering that took place. Did you
By
all cover that
Bishop
part
Mark.
already?
By Bishop Mark. He asked
Right.
$800 and $500 for closing, for closure. 800 and 500. Yes, we
Right.
covered.
Okay. So in my mind, here's the thing. First of all, it's not what you do, but how you do it. And I know in the Black church over the years, ministers have kind of like controlled the offering. I've seen it over the years. I'm a PK myself. I'm a minister myself. And so I have seen over the years how they've collected offering. They're trying to reach a certain budget, a certain amount. And it's not so much they will hold you hostage, but they will say, okay, we're trying to raise $1,000. We're trying to raise this amount. And they'll pass the bucket again and again to make sure they get that amount. That has been happening over the years. When it comes to this particular situation, I think that Marvin Sapp, he could have handled a little bit differently. First of all, he doesn't need $40,000. I did a Google search on him. He's worth $4 million. So his net worth is $4 million. So he has the money. He was trying to raise the money, I guess, for a particular thing for that particular convention. What I think he should have done is said, well, we need to raise another offering. We have a 40,000 budget that we've got to meet. If we can be able to get at least 1,000 people, because there was 4,000 people there, if we can get at least 1,000 people to give $20, that would be a blessing. Now, if you don't have $20, give what you can, because the Lord loves a cheerful giver. Some of you all can give more than 20. Some can give 20. Some can give 30. Some give 50. But we're trying to raise $40,000. I don't think he should have said it in such a way, because you kind of see how his spirit was when he told him to close the doors. And he said it 4 times, close the doors, close the doors.
And he
What
should
he could have said,
he should have just said it one time. So
right,
it
right.
shows the spirit of disobedience was in that room. The spirit of disobedience. And I understand you want him to talk all nice and soft, but this
Well,
is
not
a
so
man.
much that.
This is a
Not so
man
much
of
that.
God. So I don't think nobody should try to correct a man of God to tell, well, I want you to talk to him like this and talk to
No.
him like that.
All
And
he has to
no,
say is
we,
that
we can't do
I've
all
heard
that
it
because
said
that's
over
how
the
we got
years.
here with so
All
many
he has to say,
disobedient people out here. But go
well,
ahead.
all he has to say is this: is that I don't want anybody walking right now. Ushers, we just want to make sure everybody stays in the church. He doesn't have to say it the way he said it. I don't want anybody walking right now. Everybody, we're all going to raise this offering together, and then we're going to leave together.
Well,
But the way that he said it,
the Spirit brought him. That's maybe that's the way it
the
came.
way that he said it offended a lot of people. And so, and another thing is this: a lot of things that's been done in the Black church over the years.
Michelle. This is what I got to say about this, Michelle. Okay, but half of these people that's dressing with their behind showing that y'all not offended with that.
That's
y'all
right.
not offended with all the wicked stuff y'all be doing out here in the streets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but see, they want him to. They want him to. They want him to say it like Teddy Pendergrass. They want him to give him that Teddy Pendergrass treatment. Close the door. See, y'all. He ain't gonna give you no Teddy Pendergrass. I done been to. Listen, I done been to the PAW conventions, and I know it's loud out of those and those doors. They're coming in and out. It's loud. So it's a lot going on. So this man is telling them close the doors. There's a lot of distraction, a lot of noise. He wants to get to the point he's making. He wants to do what he needs to do that he feels like God is having him to do. And a lot of people don't understand that you will have to be in these conventions to know that. So it's not so him trying to be to the man.
I gotta say something. That is their spiritual father. Okay. And I don't know about y'all, but when my father speaks. Sit down. Okay. And it's not about trying to hurt your feelings. I'm trying to save your butt. Discipline. Okay. And that's the thing. A lot of this generation, they never had a father. They never had anybody to talk to them with a manly voice talking to them or just speaking and being blunt and honest. You want somebody to pacify you and baby you, and you're going to get entitlements.
Exactly.
The entitlement spirit. The one to always argue back and forth spirit. When I was raised up, you don't go back and forth with your father. No, when your father spoke, honey, you sit down. Now, mama, you might try her, but when that father speaks, because he speaks. And he don't say 1, 2, or 3 or 4 times.
I know Marvin Sapp was one of the itinerant ministers that was there. This was not his church. He's one of the hundreds of ministers that was there. So he's not, the father, the angel, the pastor of a church. He's at a convention.
But I understand how the PAW works very well. I was in the PAW a long time. And like I said, I regularly attended these conventions. And when the man of God who's appointed is speaking, everyone has to be subjected under his under that anointing that he has. They have to be subjected to what God is saying through this man, no matter if you bishop even over him. Everybody have to submit.
You grow up with that. When you are hard-headed, and I know when I'm in church and I even turn around, I'm gonna get pinched.
What you said?
Sit your tail right, look straight. Don't be looking around.
Don't be talking. Be quiet.
Well, that's for a child. We're talking about adults. Now I understand as a child. When you're a child, you speak as a child.
You have to instill discipline and obedience in them as a child. So when they grow up, they will know their way. And I'm saying a lot of this generation, they haven't had that. So you're going to get a lot of disobedient. You're going to get a lot, I want to do it my way. I don't care. You want to get a lot of arguments. And a lot of these pastors, they're just talking to make me feel good. But they ain't changing nobody's lives. But
well,
go ahead.
well, the offering is one thing. The message and the sermon that went forth, that's another. Hopefully he did go forth. I didn't hear the message. Hopefully he did go forth, preached, and souls were saved. Hopefully that did happen prior. Hopefully that did. But we're just talking about the offering. There were several offerings that were raised, and also understand there was a registration. Is that correct? Purpose Multi, isn't there a registration to come into that particular conference? Is there a registration?
There's registrations that you go through and certain those conferences, but some people, so when like it's about to close, those things about to close out, they just open the doors, people coming in and out. So there are several doors too. I don't know how this particular conference was because it's been a long time since I've been, but there's a lot of distraction going on, even people sitting in the audience having conversations among themselves. So even if you go to the book where Paul told people, where there was chatter in the church, he said, y'all need to keep silence. If you got a question, go home and ask your husband. Because there was even chatter, even if there had to be order in the church. You have to remember, church has to have order. This man was only establishing order, and because people can't take it, they so soft these days. They not used, just like she's telling you, they not used to discipline. It comes, I was brought up. Look, my parents beat your behind. They didn't care. You go sit down. You be quiet. Close your mouth. But everybody's not brought up that way. So when this least little thing come up, it's made out to be amplified to something that is not, and they twist it up. And they know this generation is not disciplined. They
Right.
know that they're gonna be like, oh my God, how could he? Enough of that. It's time for us to come back to center.
People that listen to all this violent music, it's the same people that's looking at all this violent movies, okay, and they want to get outraged on this bull crap. But Miss Harris, how you doing, baby?
Hey, boo, how are you? Oh, I like that hair, honey.
You do? I'm about to change it for the next show, but thank you.
Oh, well, what I have to say about the whole situation is I'm not even okay. What I have to
Before
say about the whole situation, go ahead, baby.
I just
And
want to
he
say
been
this. I'm gonna
going.
jump off, but I didn't mean to interrupt you, sister. But I want to jump off, but I want to ask permission to come back on your next show because I'm very passionate
For
about Angie.
sure.
And
Yes, for sure.
oh, okay, thank you so much for allowing me to come on and speak my piece. And I will see you next show. Thank you. God bless you all. God bless you.
Thank you. God
All
bless you.
right, have a good night.
God bless you as well.
Miss
Okay,
Harris.
so my thought is this. I'm not even tripping about you asking for another $20, right? My thing is, how do you know people have another $20 to give? If I already tithe, if I've already gave a love offering or a building fund offering, how do you know I have another $20? See, that's my issue. It's the money, 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 money. People are on fixed incomes. People are just regular people. People out here trying to make it right. And it's just a constant gimme, 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 gimme. Now, for the $40,000, the Rolex on his arm was probably worth that. If you go out there and you have all these concerts and things of that nature, if you're worth $4 million, then just give the $40,000. People don't have it like that. They just don't. We're in a time where you got to have multiple streams of income just to do one thing.
Well, Miss
Well,
Harris, I understand what you're saying, but these were just not regular people that he just picked randomly. These were people that was going to a convention. Okay, these are people that want this anointing. This is the people that have faith. They believe in him as, as their spiritual guidance. You had
let
the
me
bishop there and you had Marvin there. And I have yet to hear one of them say, oh my God, I was at that church, you guys, and I didn't have it. And I felt so type of way. Those are the outsiders that are causing all this commotion and confusion.
Well, I like to say something. I'm not familiar with the Pentecostal convention, and my background is Baptist. And one of the things I do know, when I attended the Baptist conferences,
it was, first of all, they had the Baptist convention like the whole week, from Monday and probably coming into Sunday. Every service, every gathering, there's offerings, offerings. You pretty much offering out by the second and third day, you pretty much dry, because they're always, always lifting up an offering. So like, was it not Glenda, but I think Keonta said, sometimes you just maxed out. You gave all that you have. Like I said before, I think the message should have been, we need to raise another offering for this particular budget. We're trying to raise $40,000. We like to have at least 1,000 people give $20 if you can. Now, if you want to give less, if all you have is $5, give your $5, because you got to remember the story of the widow's mite. She gave all she had, and Jesus said she gave more than the Pharisees who had much. Some can give more than $20. Some could have given $50 or $100. See, but God is going to bless the seed. Whatever the seed is, God is going to bless it. He can multiply it.
Michelle,
yes,
it's
ma'am.
churches that was said all sweet and all that.
Well, I'm not saying sweet. This is just,
I'm just saying they can go there. He is a man of God, and he is not going to change who he is to compromise himself for other people.
It's not the goal $40,000. Is not the goal $40,000. That's the goal. Whether it comes,
Michelle, how much do y'all pay for a Beyonce concert?
I don't go to Beyonce. I don't support Beyonce.
Hold on, Michelle. How much is the Beyonce concert ticket?
I have no clue. I'm not a Beyonce fan, period. Listen, I'm a minister myself.
Thousands of dollars.
Okay. I don't support Beyonce at all.
Thousands of dollars.
Don't listen to her at all.
When you have the opposition raising money and taking that, because when you are at war, you're going to have money to fight. So he is fighting for his people every single day. We are living in the real world here. And you look all around, a lot of things are changing. You have people in the presidency that are trying to take the voices of these pastors. You have no idea what they go through day in and day out.
I don't have any idea what pastors go through. I don't have any idea. No, I do have an idea. My father was a pastor. I know what they go through.
Yeah, my father was a pastor.
So, the point of the matter is that...
Hold on, let me say that to this. All pastors are not created equally. Right. Just because your father and your father doesn't mean that the next pastor or bishop is going through the same thing. When I was talking about them, I was talking about Marvin,
right,
and the other bishop. Those individuals. Everybody is not the same.
Right. And it's different times. It's different.
This is one thing. This has been going on. This type of fundraising, this type of collection has been going on for years in the Black church. Now, because this is exposed through social media, this is something that people really have been clueless about. And so everybody doesn't really has seen that this has been going on. And some people are appalled that this has been going on in the Black church, the way this has been going.
Well, they haven't been going to church. Clearly, they're not of that world.
There's other Christians in other Christian communities. There's other Christian, they don't do it like that. This is something that the Black folks have been doing.
But that's not them. They have different beliefs. They have different values and morals and traditions, clearly. Okay, because we're not going to talk about what they possibly have done and the bodies that they have buried. Okay, when we talk about Christianity and what the Catholics are doing to these little boys and so on, so forth. So we're not going to go there. We're not going to go there. But I will want to say here, Williams says, Gigi, why did he sell his Rolex that he was wearing if he needed 40,000? There was a Rolex. Well, let me tell you this, Williams. Do you ask Rihanna? Do you ask Beyonce when they buy selling all these tickets? Well, why don't you just take that big old house she got? Why don't you just cash that in if you need some money, Beyonce?
Why you keep bringing Beyonce into this? You bringing the world into this. This is a church. This is a body of Christ issue. This is not a world issue. This is not a Beyonce issue. This is a body of Christ issue. And so how does the body of Christ raise offering?
People of the world have a lot to say about this. It is not just the body of Christ issue. It is a world issue because everybody got their mouth on it, and everybody
they are saying something because it is exposed.
It's just not that. But you know what, Williams? I just want to say I thank you for coming up here, and I thank you for challenging, and I'm glad that you spoke. I am short on time right now. But Catherine, I know you wanted to speak. Can you please tell me your thoughts about it before I close it up?
Well, my thoughts is, like you said, they following this man. They in his church. He doing whatever God telling him to do. And, I mean, didn't nobody say nothing with, what was that, Tammy Baker and her husband and all that stuff was going on? Leave them alone.
Right.
Right.
That on that.
And I'm not under no spell. Hell, I'm saying how I feel.
And me too.
Beyonce have nothing to do with this, Gigi. Oh, stop it. She got everything to do with it. You know who she is. Do she got you under a spell? Because I don't understand. Y'all can pay all this money for all this worldly stuff, and you call yourself Christians. But you have an issue when the leader, when your spiritual father that is working with you to get your soul saved for $20. Beyonce, where is she driving you?
I love you, Gigi.
Gigi, I'm going to see you on your next show. I'm going to try to.
Okay, y'all. Let me go get on out of here.
On here.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mars.
I'll be back for the Angie Stone show.
Thank you. Thank you. I love you guys. And I'll see you guys on the next show. We out of here.
Okay. Bye-bye.